And we're gonna go ahead and continue it. We're gonna recap basically what we learned the other day. And you guys need to pay close attention because I will be asking questions for you to write. Now, I want you to write full sentences. That means you have a subject, a verb, and obviously you have an opinion, and you need to make sure that you include punctuation. So Gustav 16, 19, 18. When we take a closer look at Gustav Klimt, this is him who was younger, he had a family of 7 children, and he was considered poor. He did attend the Vienna, I'm going to mispronounce it, Kunstwerkberufsschule, a school of applied arts and crafts, and which is now the University of Applied Arts in Vienna, where he studied architectural painting from 1876 until 1833. Here are some facts about Gustav Klimt. He was the founding president of the Vienna Secession, which is breaking away from traditional art that was done during that time. We made the comparison of Renaissance art, and he's doing something new. His favorite subjects were women, so he had a tendency of painting women. But we did also talk about him being commissioned to paint women, meaning that there were rich families who paid him to do a portrait of their wife, of maybe their daughter. So in addition to him wanting to do paintings of women, he also had that as a job. His favorite pets were cats. Klimt was fascinated by dreams and the unconscious. He was a symbolic painter, which means that he put a lot of symbolism into his work. So for instance, if let's say, this is not obviously what he did, but let's say for instance, maybe a fish might have a specific meaning to him. It wasn't just a fish. Obviously he didn't paint fish, but I'm just giving you that example. He also painted landscape painting. So when he moved, there's talking about like his garden in his backyard. He would love for the flowers to grow wild in order to be able to kind of see how, didn't have to be like the manicured. When we look at traditional or like castles and those places in England, the gardens are very well kept. So he was more of liking the flowers and all the green things to grow a little bit more wild. And he did paint that. And I'll show you one of those in a second. Klimt's golden face was inspired by the Byzantine imagery, but I also read something else, which is not included here, but he was also inspired by the metal work that his father did. So his father also was an artisan, and he did work with metal. And I believe that was another source of inspiration, seeing how the metal melted. Obviously, when you're going to create gold paint, you do have to use some actual gold. Klimt was not interested in self-portraits, but he appears in at least one of his paintings. His paintings were the subject of perhaps the most famous case of Nazi art theft, which is The Woman in Gold. And he died in 1918 at the age of 55, a victim of the global flu pandemic. As we know, pandemics sometimes occur every 100 years. That was the last one that happened before COVID. And he died as a result. Okay, so over here, we can look at Gustav Klimt's Bauerngarten, which I'm assuming is Bloom Garden, which was in 1907. And you can see how the flowers are very lush and growing very wild. It sold in Sotheby's London for $47.97 million in March 2017, which was just about almost 4 years ago. So imagine if that were to be sold now, I'm sure it would be more expensive. Now, he was also commissioned to paint this one. So this is a little different, but you can also see that it is a landscape. You see the beautiful trees. He does have a tendency of using blues and greens. And Gustav Klimt this one is called the Schlosskammer on the Attersee 3. And this was done in 1910, which is the early 20th century. Going down, we can see the most famous painting, which is The Kiss. The Kiss was done approximately 1907 to 1908. It's the collection of the Upper Belvedere Gallery in Vienna. The Kiss is an oil on canvas painting with added gold leaf, see? Silver and platinum. Platinum is white gold, by the way, by the Austrian symbolist painter Gustav Klimt. It was painted at some point, like I said, between 1907 and 1908. And this was known as what scholars call his golden period. This was a period of time that he really incorporated the color gold in his artistic work. We did something that is going to be, we did our Leonardo Messi one, but we are going to do one that is going to be a self-portrait of one of us sleeping, also kind of wrapped with all this beautiful gold. And so I want you guys to take a look. So over here, you see geometrical shapes that are rectangular. And on the woman, you see that they're circular. You can obviously incorporate any which one. You need to start thinking about that because the project that we did was a very quick project, but the one that's going to be featured hopefully in the art show will be more elaborate, which means that you need to take your time with design and so forth. So let's look at these. These are some other portraits. Again, he was commissioned by rich families who could afford him. And so he actually was one of the artists who didn't have to wait to die to have money, like Van Gogh. Van Gogh only started selling some of his paintings at the later point in his life, close to his death, whereas Gustav Klimt was commissioned to do numerous amount of art pieces for rich families, as well as for outside places. So he was able to enjoy that. Again, there is a big, there is gold almost in every entire section. This one, I'm not sure if it was done during that same period, but you can see the gold, yellow, and then you can also see these color prints and designs. Over here, we see designs that look sort of like they resemble little trees. Over here, there's a whole, she's immersed by flowers in the background. If we were to take a closer look at this, you can see horses. This is actually the same person who is in his feature of the woman in gold. So obviously she commissioned several paintings, and she, over here is another family, and this is another one. There is also like the juxtaposition of bright and beautiful colors next to the background of gold. Okay, so that's it for now. I want you guys to really take a close look. I can definitely share the PowerPoint presentation so you can look at it and take your time. You can also look at the video and listen to the information so that you can properly answer the questions. That's it, folks. Have a good one.